Okay, we should be live. So something I think we've really failed to do a lot is, I think we need to be doing introductions every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So, hello, I am Peril Doom, and I read comics, and this is a place where we talk comics.
Yeah. Hi. I'm Possum. I'm the weird little creature that rides around on her shoulder. So if you see like a small marsupial, or if you're like, wow, that girl's got a big fucking rat on her shoulder, that's me.
You're my familiar.
Yeah, basically.
Ooh, I like that.
Work-wives familiar, like, we're racking them up.
Okay. I think, yeah, and I want us to have like a little song too. I was talking about this earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we need like a theme song. We were going through like free non-copyrighted music a couple days ago, and like we found some weird stuff, but there's I may or may not edit like a fun, little bop in there.
Yeah, no, it would be really good for us to have a little intro ditty. We briefly joked about doing the Seinfeld theme backwards, but
Oh, we did listen to the Seinfeld theme in reverse. It was demonic, and I thought it was a little too demonic
yeah,
for what we're going for, even though we are little cretin demons.
it's the kind of thing that they would play like in a CIA torture room to try to get you to confess to things. Would it work? No, but that's not really what's important. What's important is the CIA would do it.
Okay.
Perfect.
I think our sound is working.
Sound's working pretty
I'm
well.
I'm glad that got communicated properly.
Good. Good. I think we're doing good.
We are, yeah. All right. So, okay, so the introductions, we're going to do introductions, and then also I guess let's bring it in here. Hello. So, yeah, I'm in a new place today. It's not quite
Sorry.
We got a vape in the stream today for all you listeners at home. And smoke is everywhere. But also for all you listeners at home, yeah, we're not in like a weird basement with rats anymore. So that's pretty nifty. And I'm in a new room, in a new house with new people. And yeah, this is where the stream is now. I've got my gamer chair. Viewers get a real inside scoop onto the real life perilous doom lifestyle of the rich and famous.
Yeah, we're actually this is just our side hustle until we actually get a lifestyle stream going, and then once the lifestyle stream gets going, we're gonna become lifestyle gurus, and then once the guru thing gets going, we're starting a cult. So if you want to be indoctrinated, keep your eyes on this channel.
To be honest, I'm a little interested in being indoctrinated by my own cult. Is
Yeah.
that weird?
No, I think we can do that, Queen.
I'm gonna unbutton my shirt a little bit.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Oh.
I'm just so pink right now, and people need to understand how pink I am.
Yeah, no, you were hella pink like last stream too. You were the worm last stream.
Yeah, this is more of Mrs. Papercut's clothing. So yeah,
actually, yeah. Look at that. What a fucking queen. Look at her. Look at her. Okay, so jot that down.
Yeah.
Through God, all things are possible. So.
Okay, so yeah, introductions, fit check, I guess, and also, what are we doing today?
Oh wait, were we doing?
Yeah, let's see your fit. Let's see it. What you got?
So I got this.
You're so cute.
Thank you. And then obviously, and then this is like a whole like bodysuit too, but I don't know if I'm allowed.
Oh, it goes all the way down.
It does go all the way down. I don't know if I'm allowed to take my pants off on stream, even though I have pants on under here because it's a bodysuit, but.
I mean, I'll allow it if that's what you need.
Sure, since we're here.
Oh, it goes all the way.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Right? Like, look at that.
This pink little jacket layering is genius.
Thank you. My fit game been crazy for the last.
Your tattoo just goes with everything.
It really does. I'm so glad Coyote was able to give me this tattoo. Like, or Dogtail right now. What a fucking queen. hopefully we'll have Dogtail in the stream one day. Or just in my heart. Either way.
Today we are just gonna kind of talk about the comics that we read this week, or maybe things that we're excited about. So this week in front of me, I have Volume 1 of Love Everlasting, by Tom King, art by
Elsa Charter?
Charretier?
Charretier. Charretier? Yeah, it's some French.
I don't know.
Some French people shit.
Tom King, Elsa Charretier, artist, Matt Hollingsworth, colorist, Clayton Cowles, letterer, Emma Price, designer, Marla Isaac, editor.
If I'm remembering correctly, fun fact actually, if I'm remembering correctly, Emma Price is Simon Spurrier's wife.
Gay.
Yeah, that man has earned a gay card.
False.
Yes, he. Okay,
no.
You know what? Is this?
We do not hand out gay cards on this show. I'm sorry.
I'd be handing out gay cards like it's candy. I'd be handing out gay cards like it's me. I'm public utility number 1, baby, and I'd be never mind.
The gay headcanon is a powerful canon. I am also holding Dead Demons DDDD Destruction by Inio Asano, Volume 3.
I grabbed Volume 3. I've only read Volumes 1 and 2 so far. 3 is the one I'm on.
I guess we weren't done talking about that one.
Oh no, I have some things to say about it now that I've gone through.
Did you read Static?
I did not get a chance to read Static. I bought it to read for the stream. I didn't get a chance to read that.
Y'all, it has been such a wild week. Like,
yeah.
In terms of what we've read, it's a little sparse this week, but we wanted to read Static. I want to catch up on Poison Ivy. Mostly, I just buy Poison Ivy because every cover is so stunning, and it's just wonderful lesbianism.
Yeah, like
just going off.
Me and who? Me and who, frankly. Like,
in this cover, Harley and Ivy are just enraptured around a bunch of leaves and flowers, and they're both biting the same mushroom, and it's wrapped around her little finger, and it's very
potent.
It's mood as fuck.
It's hitting. And then I brought these covers to All Against All. Technically issue 3 came out this week. I meant to catch up on it because I love Caspar Winegard. I think it's Winegard's art, who, if you've read Limbo or Homesick Pilots, which is a haunted house, like haunted houses as mechas fighting comic.
I haven't read Homesick Pilots, but you talk about it enough.
It's dope. Dan Waters is a real homie. I really like Dan Waters' work. Coffin Bound is, I think, still my favorite thing he's done, along with that Lucifer run he did, but Homesick Pilot's pretty sick. Yeah, Caspar Winegard. So I brought actually just variant covers because I really liked, there was like a dog thing in this one that I really liked.
That is a sick cover.
That is a sick fucking
It's
cover.
like an X-ray image of a dog person, and
yeah, it's like a dog with like this biomechanical thing rooting into its brain, which is going to be potent for some of our listeners / myself. Not to reveal too much about myself on this stream. And then the covered issue 2 by Danny, absolute fucking queen that she is. I just adore her design sensibility. She's basically doing like Frank Miller kind of esque art, but like even better. She's like if Frank Miller was like a grungy goth punk, and also a woman.
Frank Miller's not a crust punk?
Oh no, not cross punk or crust punk. Sorry, cross.
He's not a gutter punk.
He's not a gutter punk.
He's not a folk hero on the train hopping scene.
That man has a fedora and wrote racist propaganda about how cool it is to torture people. Don't even get me started on Holy Terror. We will be here for 10 minutes as I talk about Holy Terror.
No, I've gotten the Holy Terror lowdown from you every time you have to accidentally look at it in the sales rack at the store.
I'll just throw this out there for the stream people. You know it's bad if DC takes one look at your book and goes, I don't know about this one, Chief. This is a little too fucking racist. Like, if DC Comics is telling you it's a little too racist circa 2008, or even now, you might want to.
Yeah. You know what DC did though? They published it, so little to no sympathy for them.
That is actually kind of the funny thing is that, like, we won't allow you to publish it as a Batman comic, but we do own Legendary, so we'll let you publish it through Legendary, which is like okay.
So weird. Okay. Oh god, I just said I gotta not say I have been editing out the ums, and it's a lot.
Apparently, I have a thick whatever that.
Yeah, because when I'm editing, I see the waveform of everything we say, and my ums are like flat, lifeless, but Possum's ums are like thick and juicy, and so it's easy for me to cut out Persephone's I mean, Possums. I just dead named you.
Oh, you just doxed me.
I just doxed you. Sorry.
Oh, that's cute.
I'll edit it in the
in post-op.
In post-op.
Cool.
Yet again. So much post-op.
You'll do bottom surgery on the doxing.
Do we even have any viewers right now? I don't think we do.
I don't know if we do either.
It says one viewer.
Is it us?
It might just be me on my phone though, which is usually the case.
I told the homies.
I just said again. No more ums.
No more ums? Is there a mandated punishment if one of us says ums? Asking for a friend. Got him, boys.
I guess I just wanted to find out.
Got him.
Okay.
Yeah, so
well, before we talk about all of our comics that we want to talk about, is there any other pressing issues we should address?
Should we mention the greatest betrayal in anime history from yesterday?
Oh no, I'm so depressed from it.
That was so sad.
I'm so gaslit. I'm so
gatekept.
It just happened so fast from someone who seems to appreciate me. So I'm just like, do we have a fun nickname for this one? Like, I mean, nothing's gonna beat Paper Cut Dick, but
no. Dorohedoro no.
Yeah, he called in and he was like, do you have Dorohedoro like book 9 through 20 or I don't know.
It was 19 through 20. It was 18 through 23, I think. And I sold him a bunch of Dorohedoros like a couple weeks ago. I was the one who got him on Dorohedoro.
I remember because he's been coming in more and more because he has such delightful conversations with you mainly around like manga. He seems really interested in manga. The books we have, he's like, I don't really see these in a lot of stores. And you know all about the stuff that he wants to know about. Every time he's there, he talks about how he wishes there was a tip jar because like he just appreciates what we do. And like if there was a tip jar, he would be tipping us. And like a tip jar at a bookstore, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I will always take more money because we work minimum wage job. But like,
I make $30 an hour.
What?
You don't make $30 an hour?
No, they pay me in food scraps. Look, look, this is anti-Therian bigotry because like look, just because I am a small animal does not mean I can only be paid in food scraps. My landlord doesn't fucking care that I'm a Therian. My landlord doesn't care that I'm just a silly little guy and a silly little pet. No, my landlord is like $2,000 a month to live in a box, and I'm like, thanks.
Sorry, I just needed to gaslight you about how much I make so that I could get the gaslighting out.
Oh well, you're always welcome to gaslight me, homie.
Great. That's why you're here. Possum in peril.
This possum is in peril.
Possum in predicaments. Anyways, so yeah. Anyways, he came in the other day, and first thing he does when he walks in, he's like, "Do you have the Dorohedoro?" And Possum's like, "Of course." Goes and gets it, and he's like, "Thank you, sir." And it was just like, God damn it.
God fucking damn it.
I'm like, okay, fuck. And I almost immediately was like, it's actually ma'am. You need to be using ma'am.
Thank you for saying that, by the way. I appreciate that a lot.
I don't always do that, but this guy seems to like us, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna correct him. And and he just kind of looks at me and he says, "Oh, but that's just a turn of phrase." Like he doesn't apologize, he doesn't like correct himself. He's like, "Actually, I was just saying sir as a turn of phrase." And I was like, what? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like if you had said you guys and I was like, don't say you guys, and then you wanted to be a little bitch about it and say, well, it's just a turn of phrase. Maybe.
Maybe.
I'll give you a maybe on that, I guess. But you said thank you, sir. That's not a turn of phrase that you like. If you want to, like, you just don't say that to women. That's that's the. And anyway, I just kind of squinted at him about that, and then what happened?
Oh God, yeah. And then so we were like checking out his Dorohedoro. We started talking a little bit, and then he asked if we're gamers, and we're
right.
and we're like, yeah. I mean, we play games, and he was like, so are y'all playing Harry Potter Legacy or whatever the fuck it's called? Hogwarts Legacy, god damn it. Are y'all playing Hogwarts Legacy this weekend? I'm streaming it day one. And Pearl was just like, no, dude.
Wait, he said he was streaming it?
Yeah, he said he was streaming it.
We should go heckle him.
I think it already happened. But,
I didn't
but next time, but if we can find his stream, we should go heckle him. That would be really funny.
Okay, and this is where I felt really gaslit, because I was like, he leaned in and he's like, do you play? And he had kind of like a ... Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, my squint like intensified, and I was like, no, I don't play games where they hate trans women because I'm a trans woman. I said that to him, and I don't know. I was like, oh fuck, this guy's like trolling me right now, and I'm like mid transaction on the cash register about it, and like he's asking me about Hogwarts Legacy. Like he's just being transphobic, right?
Yeah,
like, everyone knows the conversation around Hogwarts. Everyone knows like what's controversial about the game. You don't just like go online and start streaming it without understanding like the transphobic implications of doing Harry Potter shit. Like
like it's so bad. Allies are basically asking for fucking like whatever the Catholics do whenever they're supposed to indulgences. There we go. Or like when they're trying to get forgiveness. They're like, can I play the Harry Potter game if I do X, Y, and Z? Like. Kind of, you know, so what I'm trying to say is like every liberal fucking knows. Every one of these liberals fucking knows what they're doing. Like it's a whole giant conversation that if you've been on Twitter or has been extremely fucking annoying.
It was painful.
It was painful. It was really bad. Like we weren't sure at first, but the longer we thought about it, the more immediately clear it was like this guy's fucking with us, and this is all like some weird tantrum because you corrected him.
It felt like part of a tantrum, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, it's ma'am. And then he wanted to hurt me by trying to throw Harry Potter. Like, and it doesn't.
No.
It makes you look like a jackass, and now I don't care about you at all.
Yeah.
And now every time you call asking for a certain book, I'm going to tell you we don't have it.
Yeah.
Go
100%.
somewhere the fuck else. Add $5 to the price of every book. There's my tip. That's my tip.
Yeah. We can get tip from him by just charging him extra money for the book. I know this isn't going to actually change anything or make any kind of material difference, but I do think it's really funny that he's going to get to the trans woman reveal in Dorohedoro with those final volumes.
Yeah, and he's gonna get off to it. Quite honestly,
100% gonna get off to it. I mean, she's extremely naked when it's revealed. They don't show anything in terms of like genitalia or whatever, but like, yeah, she's naked when she reveals this.
That's rare for a naked trans woman reveal to not show dick.
I know it's really restrained.
Not show girl
actually.
dick.
It's really restrained, especially given Q Hayashida's like, all right, these are my big buff OCs. I'm gonna have titties out, like I'm gonna have coochie out. Like she's just really open and real blunt with nudity. So like she was pretty. I mean, I'm trying to not name this character in case anybody. You know what? We don't have that many people watching the stream. It's Turkey. Turkey is a trans woman. Yeah,
that's hot.
Yeah,
it's a hot name.
Right? She's the one who makes dolls too. So I'm just saying, Q Hayashida knows about doll girls. I'm just throwing that out there.
I have the first 4 books. I need to start reading it as a form of self-love. I've realized. To combat the transphobia that gets thrown at us constantly at the store. I was talking to Possum actually. I was like, we need to start doing magic. We need to start doing protective magic. We need to create a magical force field of protection on the store because oh my god, it feels near constant. I mean, I think that's just being trans in the service industry and in any real way, but like it's so exhausting for us to like deal with that all the time. And like we both love comics and we love books and we love creators and like we love the goss around the industry, and we're doing this fucking stream and podcast about it, like. And I don't know, part of doing this stream and part of doing all this work is to like put ourselves like in the conversation. We're not normally allowed in the conversation, and when we are, like, we get attacked in all these psychic fucked up ways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, there are not a lot of people like us doing comics in any kind of way. I mean, like, there's some of us who are like working in like, I know girls who do like work for like the Comics Journal, which is pretty tight. I know girls who do independent comics. Like, I know plenty of girls who do independent comics, but like, we don't have a huge space for us in the scene, and we have to just carve that out for ourselves.
Yeah, I didn't even really understand I could belong in that world at all until I started working at the store and people were so excited to have me there and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still a battle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully, you know, next stream we won't have some weird transphobic freaky story to tell you every single fucking week, but I'm sure we will.
I'll throw out, just for the sake of a fun story about the protection sigils. We started talking about this because I know I've told you about this, but we have not told the stream. If any of y'all are familiar with Grant Morrison, right? We were talking about doing jerk-off magic to power the sigils, because in Grant Morrison's The Invisibles, the book was going to get canceled in Volume 1, right? And so Morrison, in a letter in the back, was like, okay, so I'm going to tell y'all how to do sigil magic. Here's how to do it. Like, and then you got to like charge it, right? And that could be through like pain, or it could be through another thing. But you know what the easiest and most fun way to charge a sigil is? Jerk off. Jerk off so my book doesn't get canceled. Do the sigil magic, jerk off, book doesn't, and then the book didn't get canceled. Book didn't get canceled. It was supposed to be, and it didn't. So
but everybody came on a sigil about it.
Yeah, everyone came on a sigil about it.
So I'd like to put that out to our viewers today.
So if you would like to...
Wait, do we have to create the sigil though?
Yes, we would have to create the sigil. I can still tell you how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we do it on stream, or should we? Because I might have, if we did it on stream, I'd have to consult
Morrison.
Yes. I don't have my The Invisibles brick that I used to have with me, but
can we have a JO crystal?
A what?
A JO crystal.
What's a JO crystal? Oh, JO crystal.
JO
okay.
crystal.
Oh,
that was
JO
like,
crystal.
Okay. That was like a big copy pasta for a long time that I fucking loved when I was like a teenager on the internet. Just like some man talking about how he charges his crystal by JOing with his buds, and it's totally not gay.
Oh yeah, no,
I thought it was the funniest shit ever. And I have some crystals, and maybe we should JO on them.
Yeah, we can JO on those crystals. Wear them.
I have a friend actually who, as part of like a protection spell at her job, she wears like a large mirror. Not a large mirror, but like as a necklace, she has like a mirror that you can see yourself in, and it's this like reflective protection spell that she like sends back at all these motherfuckers.
I love
that. Like fuck with her.
She's so based.
I like her.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
So yeah, we should do some research and we should start figuring it out. We should start a coven.
We should start a coven.
I think it's coven time. I think it's big coven hours.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm already your familiar, so I'm just saying.
We should start reading more Magical Girl.
Yeah. We can be Sailor Poon.
Sailor Poon.
Okay. This is my contribution to the culture.
Yeah.
And only this. Nothing else.
Okay.
Neat. So we
got Sailor Poon on the docket.
Okay.
Oh, you know what else I read this week that I forgot to mention was I'm of course following up on the Sins of Sinister. And did you read this one? Did you read Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants?
No. I wanted to try to do that thing we did last time where you recounted the plot events to me and then I tried to repeat them back to you.
Well, you don't know what happens in Storm, in the Storm book.
I know there was a guy with a different mark on his forehead that's not, and he's kind of sitting in a weird egg chair.
Okay, well, Sinister, has the diamond on his head.
Yeah.
Well, it's been revealed that there are other Sinisters that have other marks on their head, and it's like the deck of cards. So there's a club, there's the diamond, there's the heart, and there's the spade.
So is this like divergent evolution or divergent timelines where the different
Well,
suits...
I think they all argue that they are the original Sinister.
Oh.
They're obviously probably all clones of themselves somehow. But the heart one is my favorite, Mother Vengeance, which I think is supposed to be like the opposite of Mr. Sinister. Or not Mother Vengeance, Mother Righteous.
Okay, so she's a nun because he's gay.
Yeah, they all have, I think they all have capes because that's just very sinister to have a big sexy cape.
Oh yeah.
And they're all fighting each other, trying to like take control in the Sins of Sinister world. It seems like Destiny has come to realize that Sinister has put them in a weird fucked up universe where they are like working towards something that is ultimately false, because there's this Moira who is 10 years old, and if
she's 10 years old right now.
In the Sins of Sinister, well, she's not 10 years old, but she's been alive for 10 years as a clone.
Oh, okay.
But she's 25 or however old Moira is. Oh wait, we got someone in the chat.
Ooh, hello.
Wait, how long have you been here? It doesn't say. There's no timestamps on the things.
There should be timestamps. It's like tramp stamps for the stream.
Wait, are you still here? Do we sound okay? Tell me we sound okay.
Oh, just got here. Hello. Yeah, how we doing? How we sounding? Oh, Gucci, thank you. Oh, magnificent.
Let me find those books while I'm at it.
Yeah. Find Shims of Sinister.
You're a shim.
Yeah. As something of a circumgendered little shit myself. Yeah, so Shims of Sinister, yeah. Okay, so Sinister put...
I fell asleep on those books last night. I don't know where they are.
So they put Sinister in the water supply to make all the freaking Krakoans gay. And everyone's been sinisterized except for Storm, because she's never died. So she's played dead, never died. Like my tattoo would tell you. Oh damn, that was a thick meaty Oh, thank God.
Do you like my outfit?
I do.
We the thing is, we don't even really necessarily put together looks for this. We just are kind of always fabulous. Yeah. And then the camera's on.
We're always so cunty, but cunty affectionate.
Cunty fabulous.
I'll take it. That's that Savage X cunty, right?
All right, so yeah, Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, written by Al Ewing.
Banned to Reason, a chaser.
Oh my God.
Chaser banned for... This is a persistent chaser.
Was he... Wait,
He's
was
been
he
in
here?
Every stream. I guess apparently he was.
Oh my God. My mod. Wait, so you're still my mod? I don't have to do that every single time.
That's beautiful. Thank God.
Oh, we got 3 viewers now.
Oh, okay. He wasn't here today, but you decided to get rid of him just in case. Thank you, comrade.
I don't know. With a name like Chris545675, I just really thought I could trust him.
Yeah. No, like, if not to out myself here, but I'm going to. Yeah. Whenever you do online work or whatever, and you see guys with usernames like that, they definitely pay money and don't just jerk off to the 10-second clips you post. If
he wants to get unblocked, he can pay us $545,675 monies.
Honestly, if he just gave me $69, I'd take it.
You're easy.
Yeah.
You're an easy possum.
What can I say? I like to be a community good. I'm a community service. This coochie, community service.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be really hard to edit together all of the conversations on Brotherhood because I'm cutting it up with all this bullshit. We're too tangential. We're much too tangential. Transgental.
not gonna finish that joke because it's really just obviously there. It's low-hanging.
Transgenital.
Oh, I'm glad you grabbed my low-hanging fruit.
That's how we want to say that.
That's exactly how we want to say that.
If people are gonna be weird, they're gonna have to get through me, says Tati.
Thank
And
you.
wait, is that like a?
That's a sword and a
It looks
shield.
like a Psylocke sword and a cool shield.
Oh yeah. They'll get Psylocked out.
You know, I think there's a way for if people end up like subscribing to us. God, I feel like there's so much more I need to set up on this Twitch. But people can get special emojis if they pay money or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting.
Yeah. So anyway, Shims of Sinister, Storm, Brotherhood of Mutants. We're finally
so it's a one. Actually, no, it's not a one shot. If you look in the back, let me see. It says this is Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #1, and then there's going to be a Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #2 and a #3. So this is like a larger event all about Sinister and kind of like a separate universe that he created, and everyone's Sinister-fied because there's Sinister in the water that made everyone gay. This one, it seems like the main antagonist of Sinister is Storm, along with Destiny and Mystique.
Yeah, Destiny's the one with the gold mask and the blue bodysuit, and
Do you not know nothing about Destiny? Destiny is a huge character right now.
Yeah, she's the one. Yeah, gold mask, blue bodysuit. Was like dead for a minute, and then Mystique was like, "Bring my wife back to me," and everyone was like, "Yeah, we'll totally bring her back to life." Well, yeah, totally, babe. And then they kept fucking with her.
Yeah, basically all of House of X, Powers of X, into the Dawn of X, into the Reign of X, like they were all just dangling this in front of Mystique the whole time, getting Mystique to do a lot of like CIA type of sort of psyops and shit, and doing all these things that Mystique didn't want to do because they kept telling her that she was gonna get her wife back, who was Destiny.
So Destiny did come back.
Look at Destiny trying to drink tea through this gold mask right now.
What a serve.
Does that make any sense?
She's like if Psycho Pirate transitioned.
And then if you take a look right here, there's a nice armpit window that we get in her outfit that I think really needs to be highlighted.
What can I say?
And anyways, in this book we find out that Destiny and Mystique are definitely anti-Sinister, but may or may not be working with the Sinister of Clubs.
Okay.
And I'm feeling really conflicted because it looks like they kill Storm, and Storm's never been killed. In terms of the Krakoan era, I think. Yeah,
let's explain that for the viewers just in case they haven't. So one of the big developments of like the Hickman era of Avengers was that they basically like made their own island nation, and they figured out how to like basically reincarnate people through these weird eggs. So like every other X-Men character on this island basically has died at least once, if not several times. Storm is the only one who hasn't. And they figured out partially how to do this because of this mutant named Moira McTaggart, who like
you're doing so good.
Oh, thank you. And so when she her whole deal is like when she dies, it like creates another universe, right? Like she whenever she dies, it like resets the time. It creates another divergent timeline, and she grows up again. So they like
it doesn't create a divergent timeline when she dies.
Okay, so what does it do?
Literally. Again? All of space and time go back.
Oh, okay.
Like there's nothing else.
Okay, so just it reboots everything back to the point of her birth.
Like the world she was in doesn't keep going without her. Everything ends. She's like this brutal save point. And that is how Sinister controls her. What he does is he creates clones of her, and the moment that clone starts living is the moment in which he'll be able to go back if he kills that clone.
Yeah, so he's created living save points for himself to fuck with the time-space continuum.
And Destiny and Mystique have figured that out in one of the universes he's been fucking with that is 10 years old now. And that's kind of like what Sins of Sinister is about. If you read the first Sins of Sinister, it kind of outlines, it like restructures all of like the Marvel universe. It like murders Thanos. It does all these things, like all this stuff that he planned to do to like make this perfect universe. and create an entire quiet council of Sinisters, but then they basically start having their own personalities, and he's not like god of everything. And he's like, okay, I did really good on this one, but I'm gonna go back. But he like fucks it up. I forget how.
Yeah,
and now he's stuck here.
Yeah, he's stuck in one of his own like playgrounds, one of his own like experiments, basically, like reality experiments.
Here's one of my favorite parts of this book is they bring out the chimeras, which is just basically Sinister creating weird combos of mutants. And this is a really cool one. It's what's his name? Oh my god, why am I forgetting his name now? Not Blob.
Are you talking about the pink kid?
Yeah.
Oh, the pink kid with with all the bones.
Yeah.
It's like Howard or Harold or something.
I
forget what his mutant name is.
It looks like a mix between him and the girl who shoots bones out of her body.
Oh shit, yeah.
I forget her name too. There's so many mutants now.
So many mutants.
Anyways, the Chimera is a really fun thing right now. So that came out this week, and then what also came out this week was a book all about Bishop. And it was really gay.
It was really, I was seeing you tweet about that. I was interested to hear about it being so fucking gay.
It's called Bishop War College.
Or like Bishop War Criminal.
I mean, Bishop has done some weird things in his publication history, but this one's interesting. It looks like it's rewriting the entire X-Men, all his black characters.
Which is really cool, actually.
Which is fascinating. Yeah. I'm very, very interested in this.
Yeah.
And there's a character in here that I really wanted to talk about. You probably saw my tweet about it. Also, Danny Moonstar's in here, kind of speaking to him from a place of love, but also isn't really that impressed with like how he's handling everything. He's assembling a crack team basically to like train them on like how to do war stuff, and one of them is this fascinating character who I guess appeared recently in New Mutants, some of the newer New Mutant books. Mass? Did you see this?
No, I mean I saw you tweet about them. They got big tall girl energy.
A Mass is a character who can bring in other people into the system, and is currently 3 people locked into one body.
Ooh.
And is very gay. Also, here's a lesbian kiss that's in this book that you need to know about. So that happens as well. And yeah, here's a Mass looking just gay as hell.
Yeah,
look at the lipstick and the eyeliner.
Yeah, that's tall girl behavior.
Big mood.
I know girls that look like that. And
we gotta have like a separate camera that goes to the book we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a great idea actually.
I need more webcams.
Yeah, we could get one like angled in such a way that we could like zoom it down on the comics pages as we lay them flat, then we wouldn't have as much of the lighting issue too.
Throughout the Bishop book, there's these like neo-Nazis that are sort of chasing him and the kids he's training, and he's working with tempo, slowing down time so that he can train the kids, you know, in like a slower amount of time. But you ever see that the Frieza arc in Dragon Ball Z? It's where they go into like the time chamber, and it's only 5 minutes in the real world, but they've been there for like 3 years training to kill Frieza. It's basically that. I mean, Bishop invented it, but Dragon Ball Z did it better. Anyways, through the time portal and through the Nazis, he gets actually sent into another universe, and you kind of see on this last page, he's confronted by a black Cyclops and Jean Grey. And then it's like, to be continued.
Dun 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 dun.
So I'm interested to see where they go with this.
Yeah, that does seem like a really interesting book. Yeah, like I don't know a ton. Like I know about Bishop in the vague and the abstract, and like I do remember him from Morrison's run when the whole like Emma Frost gets shattered bit, and he comes in and he's like, "All right, we're gonna lock this shit down and figure it out who shattered Emma Frost." But
goes detective on it. Yeah.
Goes detective on it. But yeah, I haven't read a ton of Bishop stuff. Honestly, a bunch of my main X-Men touch points at this point are like Morrison's run. I did read Joss Whedon's run back in the day, and I read House of X, Powers of X. But I'm surprisingly behind on my X-Men given who I am as a person.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
To tell you all about the X-Men and listen to you try to string it together.
I did pretty good.
It is an unending soap opera that they refuse to end, and makes me very happy.
I love that.
Let's see. Tati likes the armpit window. Tati thinks it's funky. Pink lad. Is that me? Am I the pink lad?
That might be me.
Or maybe that was the gay in the book.
Oh, the Herbert or Hubert,
right?
Or whatever his fucking name is.
I forget.
I think it's Herbert actually.
Tati likes that there's lesbians, I guess. Just like me, for real, says Tati. So Gendar.
Oh yeah.
You remember that from Dragon Ball Z? That makes me happy.
Aww.
That was the era that I watched as a kid. That's the best era. Honestly, Frieza is an amazing transgender woman villain that I weirdly support.
You are going to get canceled for that by
I've been
Dr. Comics staff.
Actually they let me know it. That Frieza is a piece of shit. And I shouldn't want Frieza toys when I go in there.
Call out post Pearlberry wants a Frieza toy.
I know.
How fucking could you?
What happened to Dr. Comics?
Do we need to write up an accountability process for you?
I just went in there once and they had, you know, those little like toys that they have kind of at the counter. You don't know what's in it. It's like one of like 12 Dragon Ball Z characters, and you buy it for like $5. You open it up and it's a keychain of one of those characters. I forget what they're called. And I picked one up. I was like, ooh, I really want the Frieza. And they were so mad at me. They're like, Frieza is very racist. You cannot like Frieza. Like, don't come in here talking about you want the Frieza toy. Like, I was like, fuck. Damn. Frieza's the trans woman, like the evil trans woman. Like, I get that she's not good. Like, I'm not. If Frieza was here today, I wouldn't I wouldn't Yas Queen her. I just. You know, Possum says it right when she says that she supports women's wrongs as well as their rights.
I do support women's rights and women's wrongs, which one day we'll talk about monstrous on this stream. Which
I know. I have it. Can you see it actually?
I can. It's right next to my little zine.
Here, next to a quickie for Cock Cage Cowboys. Which we should talk about one day.
We should talk about that one day. Oh my god, I love that book. That's actually comics relevant because a bunch of it is taken from a bunch of Grant Morrison.
It's relevant to this podcast because you wrote it.
Oh, well, there is that, and then also like it touches on Batman and Robin Must Die, Final Crisis, the Coyote Gospel from it's pulling a bunch of elements from that, but also like remixing them into this into a trans boy who can never die and never come. At the never-ending end of the fucking world.
Oy, that is a tragedy.
I know. This boy has been trying to beat off for 300,000 years. He thinks there's no actual the time scale is intentionally funky and conflicting.
Hyena Man. Yeah, we definitely need a whole episode on Hyena Man.
Oh, I would love to talk about Hyena Man. I love that boy.
What should we talk about next?
Do we want to talk about... We didn't read any other singles this week, did we? We can move to the trades.
I actually did read another one, which was interestingly also about Bishop. I don't necessarily need to talk about it, but X-Men Legends number 6, which features Bishop on the cover.
Bishop?
Bishop. No, Bishop.
Okay.
X-Men Legends is an interesting book because it takes stories from a lot of the Claremont run, a lot of stuff that's happening in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and sort of wraps up storylines that never quite got finished back then. And this one follows Bishop, who always kind of had this mysterious fucked up thing happen to him, and this sort of lets you know what that mysterious fucked up thing was. And it's all about Bishop and trying to free other mutants from future prison. They all have the big M on their face from the Sentinels. And he basically lost a bunch of friends and it really sucks. And then he got sent into the past and he met, Professor X. It's just a storyline that never got fleshed out back then, and that's what X-Men Legends does. It fleshes out some stuff. It's a cool series. I like X-Men Legends.
It's expanding the Claremont stuff, right? Like Days of Future Past.
Really, anything that feels like it needs clarification.
Oh yeah, which is I say this with love. A lot of things in the X-Men's like, I literally cannot think of another comic that superhero comic that has such a convoluted continuity.
Mm-hmm. That's just queer family, baby.
Yeah, that's
queer family is complicated, convoluted, weird, and complicated. And have I said convoluted yet?
That's camp, baby girl. That's camp.
Let's talk about. I guess let's talk about
Love Everlasting. Is it time to talk about Love? Okay. Oh, I'm so ready to talk. Okay.
Unless you want to talk about.
No, let's talk about Love Everlasting first.
Who wrote it?
Tom King.
Wait, did I already do this?
You briefly, we briefly mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, and then I got distracted by talking about how Emma Price is Simon Spurrier's.
Hey, this is you. I read half of this book literally today. It was fucking amazing, but
yeah, I didn't know it was going to be out this week. It says, "My name is Joan Peterson, and I probably love you." So the thing about Love Everlasting, actually, before we get into that, let's talk about Tom King for just a second. So the thing about Tom King is he's a contentious figure for a number of reasons. He's pretty beloved in the mainstream comic scene ever since Omega Men and his huge run on Batman and stuff. But he's contentious both because he takes some pretty bold swings, some of which are contentious because they're bold, for better and for worse, but also because he was in the CIA in 2004, Afghanistan. There's God. Yeah, no, he talks about this a lot, in a way that's really weird. But the thing about Tom King as well is that almost all of his books involve war crimes guilt. That is the central plot of Strange Adventures. It comes up in Omega Men. It comes up in Heroes in Crisis is also about war crimes, kind of. A bunch of other ones. He writes about war crimes a lot in this way that it feels a little bit like he's got some guilt about doing some shady shit with the CIA in 2004 fucking Afghanistan. So
how long do you think he was out there?
Sheriff of Baghdad, that's the other one. He was there for a couple of years.
Yeah, I feel
at least
you have to do 2 years.
Yeah, and if you're in Afghanistan in 2004 as part of the CIA, you're doing some sketchy, awful shit. I'm sorry, but you are. I mean, yeah, there are pictures of him standing next to the two swords.
No.
Yeah, next to the 2 swords. So he's a dude that definitely is very clearly working out some shit he definitely did. I mean, I don't want to say that I don't want this to become a case of perjury, just in case Tom King is listening to the stream. Tom King, please get a therapist. But the other thing, so he's not a terrible writer either. And so I have read a lot of his stuff because his work fascinates me. His work fascinates me for a lot of different reasons, but we'll set that aside. So we're going to talk about Love Everlasting, one of the first books he's written in a long time that does not feature war crimes guilt, and has nothing to do with war crimes or having severe PTSD. It's called Love Everlasting. It's basically the Twilight Zone for femcels. The Femcel Zone. Cue music in your head.
I myself am a femcel.
Yeah, it was.
So I relate.
Yeah, I texted you about this as soon as I was finished reading it because I know I needed to hit you with that femcel content. But the thing about this book, right, is Joan Peterson is stuck in these loops of old time romance comics tropes, right, where she's in a universe in which 2 men are fighting over her and she has to choose between them. But when she does, when someone proposes to her, a cowboy manifests somewhere in the world and shoots her in the fucking head, and then she wakes up in another universe and some other old romance storyline plot.
Yeah, I think when you first start the book, it's kind of she's the secretary and he's
her boss,
and they fall in love, and he wants to marry her, and then it's she's a
farmer's
girl,
daughter,
yeah,
rancher's daughter, and there's two cowboys fighting over her.
And then the one that like went on for a really long time, she actually starts as a newborn when she gets thrust into this new universe, and she's a newborn, and it goes through like her entire life from being a baby to growing up, and the man that like she's falling in love with, and like who wants to marry her, and it's an entire lifetime. I think she
she lives an entire lifetime every single time.
Every
time she lives an entire
so she's
lifetime.
Like 1,000 years old. She's some Moira McTaggart shit.
Yeah, she's literally some Moira McTaggart shit.
Oh my god.
She's living full lifetimes each and every time.
It's called Love Everlasting.
And the really clever thing this book does is the first chapter, it goes through 3 of these stories, or 3 of these like romance worlds, we'll call them. She goes through 3 of these romance worlds and is not totally sure what's going on. When you get to you read up through the second, right?
Yeah, I got to the end of that arc where it's like starts as a baby, and she's the maid, and he's like the well-to-do, born into wealth man, and then eventually it gets to where he wants. He like teaches her how to shoot, and then
and then this book takes a really masterful turn where like, because this one story keeps going on forever, you're expecting it to be a series of different romance plots, but it's this one, and it just keeps going until eventually you find out that she's been strategically positioning him. There has been some unknown amount of time that we have not been privy to in between the end of the first arc or first chapter and the beginning of the second. She knows now that if she accepts a proposal, this cowboy is going to come and shoot her. So she's playing the long fucking game. And so she gets him into strategic position so he'll get shot, and then like she's like, I never fucking loved you in the first place. Let me try to kill this cowboy. And then it just spirals from there. Like I don't want to get too far into it. Because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
I hope I finish it today. I was trying to finish it before the stream, but it's a riveting book.
It just gets more and more riveting and weird and wild. The one thing I will say about it, like it masterfully apes like those old romance comics really, really well in terms of like its style, while also subverting them in really interesting ways, as well as like old pulp aesthetics with the cowboy becomes really relevant. It has a lot to say, like shockingly, from Tom King. Again, like Tom King is a very complicated dude, and I have some questions about things he has done.
Yeah, war crime romance. War crime author writing a brutal romance, and it is like even the cover of the book is her with a giant shotgun in her wedding dress, drenched in blood. And I think that speaks a lot to Tom King.
The Femcel experience.
Yeah, that too.
He's also a huge wife guy, but that's a conversation for a different day.
He's a wife guy?
He's a wife guy. Don't even get me started on Tom King wife guy. That's a whole thing. Read Mr. Miracle, the other great book of his, which is also about war crimes, but it's the good one. But anyway, so this Love Everlasting is, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but she basically becomes a femcel because she like realizes that like, femcel rep. She realizes like, if she accepts a marriage proposal from one of these guys and falls in love, she's fucked. And she just has to live a whole nother life and a whole nother set of circumstances
and get brutally
murdered again and again and again. So she just stops accepting like anything from men and just like isolating from them because she's just like, I'm gonna get fucking killed.
It's quite an apt metaphor here on heterosexuality and honestly like compet.
No, she's so dykey. I'm like Tom King. I have so many questions, comments, and concerns about you, but I know lesbians exist. She is a dyke. Yeah. Like Joan Peterson is a fucking dyke. Like that's just where all of this is going. It feels
is
to
Elsa
me.
Charitarier?
I don't know if she's a dyke.
A homo, because sometimes people just write gays so well, and you're like, how did you do that, Tom King? Or who's the person who wrote Strangers in Paradise? I'm just like,
oh, Terry Moore.
Why do you understand gay people that much?
He definitely had a real good T-girl hookup at some point, but Terry Moore, not Tom King.
Is that what it is?
I'm just guessing. I'm just taking
T-girl just rocked his world, and then he was able to write gay fiction.
as we tend to do.
We are magical creatures.
We really are. I will say 2 last things about Love Everlasting, which I think are important. The first one is this quote, which is from the end of the book, but I do think it's relevant, is Joan Peterson at one point says to someone else, do you know what happens to me when I say no? And that is just the critical fucking crux of the whole book so far. Like, do you know what happens to me when I say no?
Every time she says no in the book, too, it's such a powerful panel.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it just like completely like tweaks the universe that she's in. They're like, what do you mean no? How can you say no? Like, this is all built on your obedient yes.
Yeah, the obedience and the yes, like, is so foundational to, like, every single guy she's talking to, every single one hits her with this. Like, no matter if they're, like, better or worse than the other ones, they all fucking hit her with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every single time. They all have every man in this book has ideas and plans for her, or, like, the cowboy, I'm not gonna say anything more about the cowboy, but, anyway, yeah. And then the last thing I'll say is on the back it says this is the first volume in a thrilling epic in the tradition of Sandman and Saga, which points to this being a much longer form thing. And I'm really
you're kidding me.
Yeah, it does say that. I'm really curious.
I guess it is volume 1.
I'm really curious to see how long this goes on, because if it is like subverting itself issue by issue so well and like shifting the paradigm every single time, like, where is this going to end up even in another arc, much less, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, I don't know how long this is going to go on. Tom King is not known for writing. I don't think he has written a longer series except for Batman. Batman's the one long form thing I think he's ever done. Everything else has been a miniseries.
Yeah, I feel like that's Tom King's thing. That's why I thought it was going to be wrapped up nicely in this thing.
And it's
not. The back, it says, from superstar creator Tom King and Elsa Terrier comes the first volume of a thrilling epic in the tradition of Sandman and Saga.
Series historically known for not being very long. And when I say not being very long, I mean being very fucking long. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where they spin this off. And
now I really have to read. I was waiting for the trade on this one.
Same. I was curious about it, but I was trade waiting. This might be a monthly pull for me. I will go out on a limb and say this is by far the best thing he's ever done, besides maybe Mr. Miracle. Like, this and Mr. Miracle are the two that I unambiguously love. I have a lot of thoughts about his other books and varying levels of, like, enjoyment of them. Some of them are garbage, looking at Heroes in Crisis for a second. Heroes in Crisis fucking sucks. And Strange Adventures definitely reads a little too... I mean, I haven't finished it, and I eventually will read it, but it definitely reads the most, like, I feel really bad about the war crimes I totally did. But yeah, this one's great. This one is unambiguously great. I loved it.
I think the letterer
Clayton Cowles
is local.
Oh yeah, Clayton Cowles is local. Yeah,
I think Clayton Cowles is from around here.
Yeah, he is
in the Bay Area.
He is from the Bay Area. Yeah, he's done letters on a ton of books. He did some on Zero. He did some on a ton of Image books. I think not East of West. That was Russ Wooten, but I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But he's done a ton of shit. He's a big letterer right now.
Someone came into the store recently and they saw that we had a poster for Love Everlasting, and they were like, can I please have this poster when you're done with it? And I gave it to that person's like, my friend is Clayton, and like,
oh shit,
like, this is his lettering like on this poster, and I really want this poster. And it was like a promotional poster just for a comic book store, and I let him have it.
Hell yeah. So
yeah, that'd be interesting to talk to Clayton about it.
Yeah, I would like to meet Clayton. He's a good letterer. He's a really good letterer.
Yeah, I like it. So we're about an hour into the stream now, which I think is a good place to start wrapping things up. Unless, do we want to review another book?
I have things we could talk about with Demons, DD Destruction, okay. And I think it'll be less extensive, but we could also stop here. And I could wait till I read more.
I really am interested in what you have to say about.
Okay, yeah, you saw some of my...
Because you talked about it last week, and now I kind of need the update on what's going on next.
Okay, so, yeah, the book Dead Demons, DDD Destruction by Ennio Asano. If you've read any of his work, he also did Girl on the Shore. Goodnight Pun Pun is his biggest name one. I love that fucking series. Nijigahara Holograph. And we don't talk about Downfall around here because Downfall was atrocious. But, like...
yeah, you're really familiar with
I've read a lot of
Asano's work.
I've read a lot of his work. It took me a while to read Dededede.
We gotta read that interview.
We gotta read that. Apparently, he did an interview with Remy Boydell, the artist of The Pervert, in 920 London.
I need to know what that's about.
Yeah, I really need to know what those two have to say to each other. But yeah, Inio Asano did this book. I've read the first 2 volumes of 12. It's about these two. It's a slice of life manga about these 2 high school and then college age girls named Kadode and Oran. Kadode, yeah, just like at the start of the book, just like really wants to fuck her teacher, and Oran is only interested in no scoping bitches and in this book's the in-universe version of Call of Duty. But this is at the same time as a spaceship has been hovering over Tokyo for the last 3 years. It's you know the spaceship in District 9, how it's just kind of like hovering over. It's really similar to that, where like the spaceship is just hovering over, but there's no like alien slums or whatever like there is in District 9. It's like people have supposedly seen what the aliens have look like, or they call them the invaders, which is going to become relevant later when we talk about this. What's really the thing I really mainly want to talk about with this book is that, first of all, it feels incredibly prescient to 2 things. This book came out post 9/11, and it's very, very clear. Like it came out in Japan in 2014, but it started getting published in English in 2018. It is clearly referencing like post 9/11, particularly the United States. It's kind of like if Japan had their own post 9, like had their own 9/11 in kind of similar way to the way that the United States did, and had like security culture evolves around that. They refer to the alien invasion as like 8/31 in the same way that we refer to it as 9/11.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in terms of the date. And we'll talk more about hypermilitarization in just a second. It also feels incredibly like relevant to COVID, because there's conversations in the book where some people are like, oh, there's like A-ray contamination from these past these weapon uses have given us A-ray contamination, but like we don't actually, and some people are deniers of it.
This is pre-COVID, though.
And this is pre-COVID. Yeah, all of this book is pre-COVID. Volume, yeah, like all of this is like most of this was written pre-COVID. Actually, maybe all of it was written pre-COVID. So that's like really interesting. So to keep going forward from that, violent conflict and increasing militarization are like ever present factors of this world. Like there are the news constantly is talking about Japan's industrial boom developing weapons. They start talking about there are like death and injury tolls from like armed skirmishes between quote unquote invaders and the security defense forces. Like you see like these things posted in public. It's talked about on the news constantly. You never fucking see it. You almost never see any of this conflict actually happen. Like it is almost entirely off screen. It is all super distant. The only thing you do see is occasionally like Japan blowing up like smaller spaceships that come off of the bigger one with this giant laser they developed at the end of volume 1. That's about anything you see. You see none of the actual fighting in the streets that is supposedly happening. None of it.
So is it kind of like you describe it as like a slice of life then?
Yeah,
it's more about their interpersonal relationships amid the tragedies.
Yeah, it is. It's
that's so real.
Yeah, one of the first lines of the book in volume 1. I'm going to be paraphrasing it here, but she basically Kadode basically says something to the effect of, "You'd think this would change everything, but it really didn't. It just became a part of daily life." Like it felt extraordinary in the moment when it first happened, but I mean, other than thousands and thousands of people who supposedly died, which again we never see, we just hear thousands and thousands of people died. Yeah, other than thousands and thousands of people dying, nothing really happened.
And there's
like
the whole
really
alien
changed.
ship in the sky,
And it's just hovering over, and it doesn't really do anything but release other smaller spaceships or float around. Like people,
it's just this like hovering, haunting presence that's always above you.
Yeah, but it never does anything. And there's a
God.
bit where one of the two girls, one of their friends is going on a date with this guy who's like really obsessed with. He's basically a woke scold, more like, quote unquote.
Excuse me. What does that mean?
That's unfortunately like the kind of like questionable term for it, but it's like the guy, the holier than thou online, very online guy, who he's basically like the DSA boyfriend.
I see him a lot when I scroll through the book.
Yeah, he's like the DSA boyfriend. Oh no, that's a different guy. That is a completely different guy.
Okay.
He's a troll. But that's a whole different thing. And so like the friend is on a date with this guy, and they're just like hanging out in the city, and then suddenly the ship kind of drifts over to where they're at, and they're like, "Oh, I guess things are just colder now. I didn't really prepare for that weather event, but okay."
God, it reminds me of just I think this like feeling that a lot of us have of just constantly living through so many like major historical events and tragedies that are always happening all around us all the time, and just like every time you see a headline, it's something brutal and fucked up, but like you just keep living.
Yeah, you just keep living.
You keep living.
So it is very much like, yeah, the slice of life aspect of living in a society in which catastrophe is just happening all the time, but also like manufactured consent in terms of like hypermilitarization. Because as the series has gone on, like the military has gotten increasingly like into the cities. Tanks are just like parked outside, and in a very similar way, I feel, to like when during riots and uprisings, like the military will just come in now in a way that like they didn't as consistently do before in terms of occupying cities. Like they definitely did do that historically, but not nearly with the frequency that we're seeing now as like police become further and further and further militarized and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger budgets. You see that kind of thing where like as part of the news cycles, consent is manufactured to increase military presence in the city. Consent is manufactured to get people to react to the aliens, who are just referred to as invaders. That's all they're known as, is just invaders in the entire book. And we do actually, there is an invader who comes down who's like wearing what seems to be maybe a biomechanical suit that looks like a human being. He doesn't really do anything. Like he's just kind of exploring and vibing. Like he like breaks into a guy's house at one point, but only to use his shower and eat some cup of noodles. He like helps some kids build a snowman with some weird technology. He doesn't do anything wrong. Like he's just like vibing. And that's the only invader we've seen so far, but he's just living his goddamn life. But at the same time, the news is manufacturing consent to like throw rocks at spacecraft to hopefully down them. I know at the end on the back of volume 3 that says something about like, or no, on the back of volume 4 it says that it's going to, later in the series it becomes legal for humans to just murder invaders, quote unquote. Like, so it's all this like manufactured consent shit. And the last thing I want to say, you know, something the mundanity of hypermilitarization and contagion, the normality of gradual decline, life-altering phenomenon barely changing a fucking thing day to day, yet subtly shifting the paradigm of normality until it all barely registers beyond fucking white noise. Like,
damn, this book feels a little ahead of its time.
It is kind of ahead of its time, which is
like, this is so fucking relevant right now.
Which is not something I totally expected from Inio Asano, because again, I love the man's work. Goodnight Pun Pun is a really phenomenal book about mental illness and rape culture that I won't get into a ton here, but like intergenerational trauma, mental illness, rape culture is a huge part of that. Rape culture is a huge part of most of his books. This one has not had a whole lot of that so far, which has been nice because
I appreciate that. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, because a lot of Inio Asano's other books are trickier to recommend. Because yeah, Goodnight Pun Pun just has a lot of stuff about rape in it.
What's with the title of this book? Can you describe that to me at all? This title is so interesting to me.
They have not fully explained it yet.
Dead demons, Dededede, destruction.
There was a reference to the demons thing, and I can't remember what it was. Dededede is, I think, the theme song to the is the theme song to either an in-universe show or the Call of Duty like that they're playing, and then the destruction is a reference to the Call of Duty like that they're playing because it's like Birth and Destruction
big
3
part
or
of
something.
the plot is
this Call of Duty game, yeah.
FPS they're playing.
Yeah, they're like always playing that. And Oran or Otan, she's referred to as both. And there's probably some culturally specific thing that I'm just missing there of why she goes by both names. But she's like the goblin mode friend. She's like, we can solve all war by putting marshmallows in the guns. We'll have kawaii Kalashnikovs.
Ooh.
There's a bit where she's like running in the street and she like sees this. She's about to like crash into this boy, so she does a kickflip like over his head, and he like looks up and like sees her panties, and her panties just say "kill" on him.
Oh my god! I like her.
She's great. She's like my favorite.
I want her
character.
on my team.
She's my favorite character. Like she's that character that like if things went down, she would be the first person with a gun, and like she would scare me, but like I wouldn't want to fuck with her either.
Okay.
This 17, 18-year-old kid is just terrifying, and I love her. She's the one with the pigtails.
So you're on book 3 now.
I'm on book 3. I finished book 1 and 2. I haven't started 3 yet.
Oh, you haven't started this one yet? Okay.
No, I've briefly looked at it. And every book opens with Isobean, which is just kind of like the in-universe like pseudo Hello Kitty-esque kind of manga, but he's a lot more sardonic than Hello Kitty is. He's
the weird little mushroom man.
The weird little mushroom man, yeah. So every volume like opens and closes with little excerpts from this in-universe manga that Cadode reads, and she has this little backpack. Yeah, I love all of them. The characters are all really great. I love the friend group. We're getting more and more from the friend group as well. We're getting a ton like the teacher that Cadode wanted to fuck in the first book is now getting clowned on by the second and third book because like we meet his wife, and his wife is like, oh my god, this man is a fucking idiot. Like his password is I love tits. Like I hate this man. Why am I dating this boy?
That's my password.
Oh yeah, I mean it's different when dykes do it, but but she's like, I hate this man. So like everything is expanding out and starting to like and Otan's brother is basically like this decently nice overall like internet troll who does not like the right and the left wing. At one point he's like, Otan, find me pictures of cat balls, and she's like, okay, why? And he's like, I'm going to troll the right and the left.
Okay.
He's an equal opportunity troll, which
is he an anarchist?
He just seems
or is
like
he's just like a 4chaner.
He's like a 4chaner, but without. He so far hasn't said anything like fucked up. He just seems like
not a 4chaner then.
Yeah, so maybe not a 4chaner. He's more like an edgy Redditor, but without any of the so far without any of the like racist, misogynist, like ableist shit, etc., etc. Like, for the most part, he's been pretty normal. Like he's just kind of an edgelord. But he seems decently fine-ish so far. Okay. He's one of the better men in an Inio Asano book, but also knowing it's an Inio Asano book, that could go very badly very quickly. Like the men in his books are mainly awful people. They are at best often like cringy perverts, quote unquote, and at worst are often like actual sex offenders. Pretty consistently. So I'm hoping we don't have as much of that. Inio Asano's a dude kind of like the filmmaker Sion Sono, where like he writes really prescient things about misogyny and rape culture, but then Sion Sono got outed last year for being a sexual predator. I really hope.
Oh, that's right.
I really hope that Inio Asano has not been doing shit like that. But if Inio Asano was outed for doing shit like that, I don't think I would be terribly surprised, which is unfortunate.
He seems to have the inside scoop enough to be able to write these kinds of stories.
Also, he keeps making weird men in his books look like him.
I see.
It's weird, especially not Goodnight Pun Pun, Downfall. Downfall, the main like manga artist who like abuses somebody, is like clearly inspired by him, looks like him. It's very weird.
Huh.
I don't know what to make of that one. I didn't like Downfall. Like I don't want to say he did anything because art doesn't equal like like our
You just wouldn't be surprised.
I just wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, like
With
our
most men, you wouldn't be surprised. But
no.
Men who really know the ins and outs of like rape culture, like how does that happen necessarily?
Yeah. And again, to be clear, I'm not trying to be reactionary here. Like just because a character or characters do something in a story does not mean that the author condones this. If an author had to answer for everything characters in their books did, I would have a lot to fucking answer for right now.
That's true.
Start the call out post immediately. But yeah, no, Dead Demons Dededede Destruction, highly recommended. If you want to read an Ennio Asano book, that's the one I think you should go in on. It's the least intense so far. The art is beautiful as always. The man can just draw hyperrealism.
Yeah, the art's really cute.
He does a really strong hyperrealism, but a thing he does really well in Dead Demons is mixing that with a cartoonier affect to some of the expressions and faces. That it is, yeah,
it's cartoony in a world that feels so rich and real.
Also, have you seen the weird fucked up dog yet?
Oh, I think you showed that to me recently.
Yeah, that's an effect he does in Goodnight Pun Pun too, where all of the characters are hyper realistic except for Pun Pun's family and Pun Pun, who are all drawn like little bird people.
I gotta read Pun Pun.
It's very good. I really, really like Pun Pun. Heavy TWs for a lot of things, but it's very, very good.
I mean, I've read the first 3 deluxe editions of Berserk. So
yeah, I mean, if you've read Berserk, you're probably fine. Like
I've seen some shit.
Yeah, like if you've read Berserk, I don't think it's any worse than Berserk, but it is definitely rough. There's a lot going on.
Okay, well, thank you for talking to us about Dededede Destruction.
Of course.
I'm very fascinated. I need to catch up on it. I need to catch up on everything. I really want to catch up on Poison Ivy so we can talk about it soon. That'd
be great.
Keep buying it and keep not reading it.
For now, we'll be your Poison Ivies. Yeah. You're Poison Ivy, clearly, because you have red hair, and I'm Harley Quinn, because I'm a little goblin mode freak.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Actually, yeah.
It actually works really well.
Oh, my goodness.
It kind of maps kind of perfectly, actually.
Let me just show you the cover of this one more time.
Yeah, look at that.
That's us.
That's us. Us culture.
The only other thing I want to talk about is that Banshees is coming out February 22nd, which is written by Jessica Balboni and David Dwanch. They did a signing recently at my store. And when it comes out, we are definitely going to be doing a deep dive on it. We actually already have copies, but we're going to wait till it comes out. I wonder if we can get Jessica. Whoa.
Ooh,
what's going on with the camera? Do you see this?
Yeah, that's...
Why is it doing that?
That's hella weird.
And yeah, I think I'm ready to sign off. Thank you everyone for joining us.
It's been a pleasure talking with you as always. And
I guess we should do an outro. Today we talked about Bishop in X-Men Legends and in Bishop War College. Who definitely going to stay updated on these. I'm going to keep buying these and reading these ones. We talked about Storm a bunch in Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants as the main antagonist to Dear Mr. Sinister.
And all those shims of Sinister.
We talked at length about Tom King and Love Everlasting.
Femcels and...
We do suggest it.
Consent culture and being able to say no as a...
And just like a real ripping to shreds of like the romantic novel tropes. Which I think is fascinating.
Yeah.
And we talked about...
Dead Demons, Dededede Destruction, hypermilitarization, the mundanity of decline, etc., etc.
Also highly suggested by us. We should have like a rating system.
We
5
should.
popcorn.
5 bags of popcorn and
2 sodas.
And 5 investigations into misconduct.
Okay, bye everybody. I love you.
Mwah.
See you next week.
We're so cute.